Professor Braulio. Can you hear me?
I can. What's up, bro?
Hey, buddy.
Good to see you, man.
I know. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Awesome. You
Uh,
look great. As you can tell, I'm in Brazil. No, no, no. Just in
I
California.
wish I was in Brazil too, man.
Yeah, right. It's probably so nice right now. Oh, it's
Yeah,
winter. Right? It's into winter.
but yeah, it's getting winter, but Brazil is never really cold, right? But to be honest, here in the UK, it's pretty warm.
Really?
Uh, never in May. I I live here for about 17 years. I never seen such a warm May. To be honest, it's been warmer than the most summers here. Been
Really?
no rain, sun, like all 30 days of the year of the month. It's crazy.
Interesting. Right on. Well, I'm super excited that we get a chance to talk today. Just for our viewers, everyone, Skylar from Jiu-Jitsu Nutrition.
Yoo-hoo.
I've got Professor Braulio Estima here. I'm so pumped, man. You have such an awesome last name and first name, combine them together, and you have this just so much history in jiu-jitsu, and I'm so excited to dive in and learn more about like how everything's been going and where you've been at and everything. And so yeah, that's super excited.
Man, my pleasure, Skylar. I always like to share a little bit of my story, and also to let people know that it's not something that you know we start with everything in the hands. Like we always tend to see like the tip of the iceberg, and but there's so many things going on that made that happen. And all the choices that
Right.
we had to take on our journey, and it relates a lot as well for the situation that we're going through today, this
Right.
moment, right? With all the scenario, not only the coronavirus, but with all these the the racism and that's going on right now. It's this movement that's going on since the bad thing that happened. We see so many people talking one side and the other people talking the other side, but we cannot argue or talk about something or get to know what you see just by the tip of the iceberg, because what happened right now is just the tip of the iceberg, right?
Right.
That's what we
Right.
see. But
Right.
if you try to understand the why
Right.
it got to that place now, and then it makes more, you humble yourself more and try to kind of get into terms with yourself, because actually everyone has to make their own uh, choices and movements according to what's happening. Something bad or good is happening right now. It's
Right.
not about what's happening, it's about what the choice we make by seeing what's happening. So
Right.
remind this.
Totally. So to piggyback on that, and before we kind of jump into some of the questions that I have, it's so important to kind of have that mindset, because I think like just jujitsu in general, because we all come from so many different walks of life, right? There's so many people from one area and people from other areas, like regardless of how successful or unsuccessful or whatever they are, we're all the same on the mats, you know?
Exactly.
And for me, like it's really interesting to have this this sort of thing happen, around the world, not just here in the United States, because like it's just something that's front page news right now here, um, and the riots and everything. But it's just so interesting that I think jujitsu brings people from all different walks of life, regardless of what they look like, regardless of how big they are, regardless of everything, right? And we're all the same.
Yeah, no religion, no
No,
religion, no race,
no,
no
no.
beauty, no uh, wealth. It's everyone. It's seen and then related to by who they really are, because you
Right,
cannot hide, you cannot
right,
bribe.
right. Exactly. And then on top of that too, like just the humility that comes along with that, right? Like, uh,
Yeah, that's the
it,
thing. That's
yeah,
the thing when you have to take in consideration. That's uh, one of the biggest lessons in jiu-jitsu, right? Is you humble down. That's
so
why it can fix the people who are being bullied, and also can fix the bullying itself.
right.
So it's beautiful, and that's why Skylar, I'm very proud and honored, to have this as my job, man. Like, because as you said, like, on the beginning, which makes completely sense. You kind of seems already very, very wise about what the lessons in jiu-jitsu are, because jiu-jitsu is much more than just winning a tournament. It's much more than just choking each other out or,
Right.
armbar each other out. Is this not the main thing?
Right.
This is just like a part of the process of the challenge, right? But it is the life lessons are immensely necessary, and that is our master, like Carlos Gracie Sr. He always mentioned and said that if everyone in the world did jiu-jitsu, the world would be a much better place to live. And I just tell you that
Right.
if we get in this drastic example, right? If that jiu-jitsu, if that cop, right, that was needed on Floyd did jiu-jitsu, this would never happen.
Never.
And neither if Floyd
Totally.
did
That's
jiu-jitsu,
for
this would
sure.
never happen either.
For sure. It's a total lack of, in my mind, respect, number one. Number two, training, right? Like I feel like there's a lot of police officers, law enforcement that go in wanting to do the right thing and wanting to be a symbol of civility and just being a good person and trying to help the communities that they serve. But I feel like a lot of times that gets lost in translation because there's not a lot of proper training techniques, and you can see it like more and more again, like just more often and more often. So um
Yeah,
it's such a bummer, man. It's like
it is
I
crazy, man.
don't know.
Like, but this is like also this is the technical aspect that's lacking, right? On them, like on that specific situation, and of course comes the integrity that you learn,
Of
the
course.
humbleness that you mentioned that you learn, and this is something that you got to go through. You don't learn only in 1 month or 2 months
Right.
or,
Right.
or, or 5 months,
For
6 months.
sure.
You don't learn that. It
Yeah.
takes time,
Yeah.
right? And like the police, the way that they train, self-defense or any kind of martial art is very fast. They don't go through what the hardship to be able to develop,
Right.
and this is the skill, mindset, the skill, like of fighting, right?
Right.
But I think when you have the lessons that it's not about, man, there are good and bad apples. Doesn't matter where you go.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
that are there is no such a perfect place in the world. Neither, you can find the best place for surfing, but might not be the best for something else. You might go to the most green place, but maybe not gonna. There's no such a perfect thing. It's a perfect for the moment for what you're looking for, but not for cover everything around.
Yeah.
And with that, when you understand that, you start like realizing things has always the other side of the coin. And like one thing that you should never judge people by the cover. Like everyone has their own battles, and this is things that we tend to very much uh react instinctively on many things. Sometimes we react by what your choices are, by what you think. And when in jiu-jitsu you learn about that a lot, that is not only about what I want or what I think that will matter, because someone else also think something else completely different, and you just need to accept yourself with it and then understand why of things and respect people's choices and try to understand the why they had those choices and maybe try to correlate and learn from it.
Right.
That's part of the daily challenge that we put in. Like for example, all the lesson that you can also have in jiu-jitsu, like is get used to be comfortable on a very uncomfortable situation that can relate to anything. It's also that's not about being tough, that is gonna make the whole uh, things make sense. It's about you gotta be giving. To be good in jiu-jitsu, you gotta learn how to give back.
Right.
And then when people appreciate and learn how to give back, and then it's a snowball of positivity. Skylar, just a quick one, because my son on the movie here is too loud. I'm gonna
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Go for it. Go for it. Yeah. Totally. Guy's so cool. Braulio Estima. Got him. I'm really excited. He's in UK right now, so um, he's like 8 hours ahead.
That's better.
Better?
That's better now.
Awesome.
That's good.
So
Like, good start. Good start.
yeah, have you been seeing like some riots and stuff where you are? What's going on in your kind of community and your neighborhood? What's happening?
To be honest, since the very last time, that I saw that, I confess that I kind of lost a little bit of the drive to go out much.
Yeah.
It got me reflecting a lot, Scarlett. I didn't like at all what I saw, bro. Like, honestly, I really felt kind of I felt down, bro. Like,
For sure.
see someone like pleading like for their lives, man. It does, and then people telling outside guys, look, he's been here for 2 minutes, bro. Stop, he can't breathe. It's horrible, man. Like, I just felt a little how you call it, powerless, because it already happened. If I was there, I could have made a difference, but on the other hand, I think that people tend to take advantage of this and try to let it out, all the anger that being held back they get. And then I understand all of the sides, man. I understand, and I have I just feel sorry for Floyd and their family, but what we need to always try, even with myself, with my injuries, with my losses, or with my bad things that's happened in my life, I try always to take some lesson. I have a auntie that she's a white, and she was assassinated, man, on a bridge. She was she's a dentist, and someone broke into her, and then just cut her, like, and then she died. It's my aunt, so I know the feeling, how it is. It's terrible, but it's about also you take some lessons even from the bad things and try to spread the positivity. Try to to use what you got as platform. I use jiu-jitsu, to spread this. The love is always the answer, and it's sad, but I think like, for every time to some good to happen, that is also the bad happens to be able to good to be good. So it's a contrast, right? There's no good without the bad, and then likewise, and I'm always for the good, but we cannot go back in time, right? Yeah. That's also jiu-jitsu we learn. We cannot go back in time, and if something bad happens to you, or for whatever you at, we need to try to don't let escalate to make it worse. And a too bad doesn't make you one right, So it's about suck it up and try to see, okay, this happened. What can we use from that to make something that's gonna be better for everyone.
Right.
And that's my hope. Is that the connection of what happened with coronavirus, what happened there, and then we combine it all, and then maybe even some other things might just come up with. And then I think it's a lot of people associate good things with good feel, with good things, with walk in the park, and but also change is good, but not necessarily it's gonna be feeling good.
Right. It's just like in jiu-jitsu when when you're getting armbarred, or when you're getting choked out, or when you have a foot lock or a wrist locked or whatever, and you're sitting there and you're like, this sucks, but I've learned, like, don't be in that position again, right?
Exactly. Avoid that for the all cost.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then this is how you learn from your strategies, when you try your one way, because on your journey you learn how to open doors, and then you know which one unlocked. So if you come and tell to the guys, listen, I've been through this row, don't go on the door, because I got there, I got stuck. So so if I keep telling everyone my experience and then pass it on, people will make less mistakes than I did, and they will become as good as it can be in a faster rate and understanding, right? So, but sometimes, okay, it's important for you to make your decisions as well, so you know what's the feel to decide a wrong thing, and then you learn from it, and then that feeling helps you to get better choices later. So my point is, like, I think all this happening together, it's my point was trying to make about change, good feel stuff. Everyone was thinking, oh man, 2020 is going to be an amazing year, because everyone was pumped up. It's crazy, right? And it suddenly goes that.
Yeah.
But what if all this are something that meant to become the change that is gonna be better? Because I've never seen if this was the big one of the biggest crazy things that ever present in my whole life. You know, this coronavirus, especially for jiu-jitsu, is the biggest challenge that we ever had, because jiu-jitsu, we need each other to train.
Yeah.
We 3 months now without nobody. In jiu-jitsu, we are individual sport, but we need a partner. We need someone to learn, improve, and our community never been so connected than ever. After all this, you know, jiu-jitsu showed that another side, and the importance of being connected, even though we are individual sport, and we stand by together because we have the same values, we have the same integrity, and then we have the same kind of respect to our partner and to our opponent, and this is part of took long to get where we at now. And I just hope the world is awakening and don't also go back to how it was. There's no learning process. If you go rioting and doing that, and then take advantage of the bad of this situation instead of making it good, try to take advantage to get self benefit. I don't think this is the right way neither. I think it's about, you know, I've never seen so many white people protesting to support anti-racism. So it is a good thing, you know, because before it was only the black guys that was anti-racist. Now we're seeing a bigger movement, you know, and then hopefully after, when the dust settles, we'll be able to see a better days ahead.
Right. Well, let's kind of transition a little bit into, because you talked about a little bit before, being in the coronavirus time when we've needed a lot of kind of interaction with our training partners, but we're not getting it, right? So from that standpoint, like what have you been doing to stay fit and to keep your mind occupied with jiu-jitsu, you know, through the last couple of months? And when you guys shut down pretty quickly, right? It was
yeah, we took a stance, you know, for what we thought was right to do. Sure. You know, and without waiting for the government, you know, like, we need to stand by what we believe is the right thing. And which we out the very beginning, we stopped, but we have, sorry, my bad, I didn't stop. We transferred our platform of teaching to online. We are the very first one. And the receptivity was amazing. You know, the support of our students was amazing. It's not that if everyone was on the same boat, though, right, Scala? It's not that we are. If we can train and the people cannot. We are all stuck. You know, we need to respect. You know, the other people need to do the right thing, not what we really want. We need to. That's the thing. It's not about what I want. It's about what is supposed to be right to do. You know, and this is also always what I stand by. And we transferred everything to the online, and you know, try to help people to getting the benefits of jiu-jitsu. There are 4 pillars that matters to our team. You know, like that we work on every class, which is make sure that people comes to train with us to exercise, to learn something new, to socialize, and to get inspired. You know, those are the 4 pillars that we carry, and we do that on the academy. It's much easier because we have the connect, but we also can do that from the online. And then one thing as well, as you mentioned, is very important as humans, to be active in exercising. And it's very important to not have empty mind. We say in Brazil, I don't know it's in English, but if you even heard this answer, but then because from the Bible, we say that an empty mind is a perfect home for the evil.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when you're empty, like, but when you kind of keep your mind active, So I have tried to learn things, new things. I've put on my mind to come back out of this better than when I left.
Sure.
I put on my mind to lead by example, to be part of the classes, inspire people to train. And also there will be people that won't train online, but there will be people that will, if they need to and they want to, they can have the access, right? But there will be other people that without training, they will go mental. They'll go mad. But so we have the options, and then we have a schedule, a very consistent schedule, a very solid schedule. And we can see there are people that was training once in a while. There are people that was every single class. There are people that comes like once a day. There will come there once every 2 weeks. But it's there, right? A lot of people still working as normal because still nothing changed for them because a lot of people did work online. But one thing that I had to take in consideration is that we're not on holiday. We are forced to not be able to do the work that we used to, but then we have to kind of adjust.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So we also, like we more time at home, especially myself. I've never been at home for so long.
Right.
Since when I started jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Like I never been at home for so long, right? And I travel like my last 10 years, I travel every month, maybe twice a month, to another country. And then this is like suddenly I'm home for 3 months. And guess what? Man, I started enjoying things that I missed a long time ago.
Yeah.
And but I still doing what I'm doing. Like we're talking here. We kind of keeping the ball rolling off my mission, my purpose. Because I nowadays I do know what my purpose is. And my purpose is to use jiu-jitsu, which is my tool, to spread the good, to spread positivity, and then make it a positive impact on people's life, because I know how much jiu-jitsu changed my life. And then I believe as well, like I always said, I always preach that if jiu-jitsu, if everyone did the jiu-jitsu in the world, it would be a much better place to live. And I think with the pandemic and with all that, I think jiu-jitsu is becoming an evidence. It's being shown, and I want to talk more. I want to spread, and I want people to have the experience, and then have jiu-jitsu on their lives and then help them to become a better version of themselves.
Yeah. How have you been staying like active and fit, right? Because I know that you do a lot of the online courses for Gracie Barra globally, which is awesome. It's pretty cool that everyone gets access to you, but from an activity standpoint, are you like, how are you staying fit? Are you working out? What's kind of your program?
I mean, like I'm using all the classes.
Yeah.
And I train myself during the class, because the thing is kind of, when you teach a class on the when you teach a class on in the academy, you can do a class and then you go, all right, guys, so you go to do this, and you start walking and start fixing people, and they start. But that when you do it online, you need to kind of be. There's nobody to kind of stop and then have a break. You got to be doing the exercise and showing the people how to do it. So you kind of get kind of it's tiring. It's tiring.
Yeah, you get sweaty,
yeah, you do 2 classes a day. You get tired,
Yeah.
But then that's why and also always do some activities, because I have my kids with me, right? So
how old are they?
They are 9 and 11.
Okay. Girl, boy?
Yeah, so 2 boys.
Nice.
2 boys.
Do they train?
So they do train, but at the moment we train just a little bit between ourselves. But I try always to be example and show them that it's important to go outside. If it's sunny, let's get a little bit of sun, not just playing video games. So try to find them, give them also. They're always very athletic as well. So we always try to be very active. So my game was separate my day that I can do something to self-improvement mentally, learn something new, or do something that uh, active for myself to do a workout. So if I train, I'm not doing something. I do. It's, the key thing is, you don't need to be very exaggerated. It's not, I'm not going through a world championships next week.
Yeah.
There's no world championship coming up in 2 months. So you don't need to train like a pro. All you need to do is be active. So I do like 1-2 sessions a day. If I'm gonna go to the park and play with my kids, I do 1 session a day. I already did 1 today.
Yeah.
I brought my kids with me, so we play a little bit. Now we watch a movie. Now I'm talking here with you guys. So I keep myself always with those pillars. Try to get exercise myself, learn something new. Get inspired or inspired, because I get inspired
Right.
by inspire others too.
Right.
So these things. So I get my own 4 pillars in every day of my life.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's super cool. So it sounds like you got a park kind of close to where you live then, and you guys
Yeah.
walk there and just kind of cruise around?
We sometimes we walk with the closer park, but also we go by car.
Yeah.
We can drive here. We are on the other side of it. We already easing down the lockdown, so we can see other people. Yesterday, 2 days ago, I went to see Victor, my brother, in Nottingham. He lives 1 hour away from here, so we are allowed to go and see what with the social distancing. But it was really fun. We went kayaking and went to a river for the first time. I did an amazing. I started learning things in the UK that I never knew there was, because I never had the opportunity to be here for so long.
Yeah.
And I'm falling in love with so many different things we can do here. It's beautiful.
It's cool too, because like you just said recently that, or just a little bit ago, that you travel a lot, right? Like you travel
Yes,
a ton, and being home, I'm sure, kind of gives you a lot more opportunity to experience the things that, because you were traveling a lot, you couldn't have before. You know what I mean?
exactly. And they appreciate, and that's the thing. We must to get something out of all this,
Right.
you know, because is that a lot of things are there to be learned from, the importance of the family, the importance of people around you, people that you love, the importance of appreciate the simple things, the importance of understand the contrast,
Yeah.
because imagine if you go out. For me, for example, like myself experience, right? Every weekend, I'm in a different country, or in a different place, and I go do a seminar, and every time when I go, people are looking forward to that day for a few days or for weeks. People are excited and then getting ready for it. And then for me, is another day
Right.
that's very similar. But I appreciate and I understand the importance that time is for them. So I try to make them have the best class that they ever had in their lives.
Sure.
This is what I do, right? But also after that, because they have all this hyper atmosphere, after the seminar, people are pumped
Yeah.
because thankfully, I did my good job, and
Yeah.
the people are pumped and they're excited, man. They inspired, and they have a better understanding of how to see jiu-jitsu. They excited to come back and train, and they excited to tell people and all that, and they also enjoy the company. So what they do, let's go to have a good meal, and then we go to a very nice restaurant, and all that, and this becomes normal for me, right? Because for them, let's say an example. I went to there was in Belgium. I was on Friday, and on Saturday I was in London, and they don't know each other. For me, yesterday I was in Belgium, but they
Yeah.
don't know I'm
Right.
in London. But for them, I'm making the same effort, and for them, last Friday was just a normal day of their lives. For
Right.
me, I was working, right, and I was in a nice restaurant.
Yeah.
And then here, they didn't go to a nice restaurant yesterday, but now Braulio is here. Let's bring him for a nice restaurant. And then for me, it becomes normal to be in a nice restaurant every single time I'm out. But then you start losing a little bit of the contrast,
Mm-hmm.
because that becomes normal. And if this becomes normal, what's good? What's amazing? What's
Yeah.
better? You
Yeah.
know? So, and that's one of the things that I start realizing is that, hold on a second, like I'm here, and my girlfriend, she didn't go 3 days consecutive to a nice restaurant, but I did. And then for me, I'm already overflow
Yeah.
of, and for me,
Yeah.
it's like too much.
Yeah.
I want to kind of stay at home. But
Yeah.
then my girlfriend hasn't. My kids hasn't. So do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you need
Yeah.
to start learning about the balance. And I start to appreciate a lot more that going to a restaurant, it shouldn't be a normal thing. It should be something that we look forward to. Otherwise, the parenting that I give to my kids as well, it can be taken the wrong way. For
Right.
them, becomes hard. Now they appreciate. I used to bring them to restaurant all the time because that was the normal thing for me. But now we're having a much better fun
Right.
together because we can, we talk, we laugh, we have our own private jokes, and we watch something together. We that's, and we eat simple things,
Yeah.
and we enjoy as much, and we pay kind of 10 times less.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's awesome. So, um, being where you are right now in the UK, where are you in relation to London? Like, are you in London, or where are you located in UK?
I'm 2 hours from London.
Okay. And where?
Yeah, London is more in the middle of Birmingham is what I am. Is in the middle of
Birmingham.
UK.
Okay.
Okay, and London is about on the south.
Okay.
You know, and
Sure. And your brother,
so
where's he at?
he's in Nottingham. So it's like
Nottingham.
Nottingham, Birmingham, and London. That's the shape. Like it's in three. Like Nottingham here, Birmingham here, and London here. It's actually funny enough. It's like the same kind of figure. If the map is here, that's exactly the same position.
Yeah.
A
It's
little
so
bit to the
funny.
side to the other.
Occasionally I watch the English Premier League, and I love how excited the fans get, just from the different cities that you guys are in. It's crazy, man. I'm
It's
sure it's
very
like
rivalry.
I'm sure it's like football back in Brazil too, right? Like, you guys get so fired up, even if it's a 30-minute away city than where you're at. You guys still have this crazy rivalry when it comes to football, right?
Oh, that here the people are very like
So
crazy
passionate.
for football.
Yeah.
They have too much passion. That's where it starts football, right? Football started here, so they really love it. They have like one of the best teams in the world, right? In within not national, but like local teams like Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool now is doing great. We have
Yeah.
Chelsea,
Arsenal,
loads.
yeah, everywhere.
Very good, very spoiled for football. Even though now it's very hard to get tickets if you're not part uh, of the club. So it's sometimes very hard to get to watch. But we
So
watch online.
you being a Brazilian star, right? Because you're a
Yeah.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu star. I'm sure some of the soccer players, or some of the football players, they probably know your name. So do you ever like get to hang out with them at all? Do you guys ever do things together? What's kind of the story there?
Well, we have some people who actually started introducing to jiu-jitsu. They like it, like um, Rafinha from Barcelona. He's a very good friend of a friend of mine in Spain, Barcelona, and then we get to meet those guys. But I have my schedule is so
Yeah, right. I'm sure.
hectic. I'm traveling so it's very hard to kind of meet up at the same time. But I'm very lucky, fortunate to get to know uh, some of the big stars and stuff. But we don't really have much time to hang out
Sure. Yeah.
because I'm always on the go, and the
Right.
people are on the go as well.
Yeah. So you're in Birmingham now. You moved there 17 years ago. Where did you grow up when in Brazil, and how did you get started in jiu-jitsu?
Yes, I started jiu-jitsu when I was 16 years old. Um, with a reference of a sport, judo. Because I did my first experience of martial arts was judo. Now I understand why my dad put me in martial arts because I have a son that's pretty much similar to me, and jiu-jitsu really helps.
Yeah, for
The-
sure. Yeah.
and I was always very hyper and stuff. And I'm from the northeast of Brazil, a city called Recife, and yeah, I did my first experience with judo. I was 9 years old, and then I shifted for football because my sensei in judo he passed away in an accident, unfortunately. So I got kind of a little bit disheartened to do judo, and I started doing football like every other Brazilian guys
Yeah.
do, and then I was okay, not amazing, but not bad. But then I started finding like the little bit of this motivated for the clicking groups that there was. My dad wasn't really involved with football, so I didn't have no connection to put me through, and I saw people better than me not going through. People who was worse than me going through. I said, hold on a second, man. If that guy is better than me, he's not going.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
going, and I have no connection. So I tried a couple times different ways, and I put a target. If by 16 I have no being discovered in football, I will do something that's something different. And when I was 16, I was watching the the Olympics, and then I saw the judo. I've always kind of been there, stayed down here. And the judo Brazilian, he got third, if I'm not wrong, Aurelio Miguel on the heavyweight. He got third on the Olympics, and it was like amazing. And then it got me fired up. I said, oh, that's it. That's what I want. It's an individual sport, and if I lose, it's my fault. If I win, it's my merit. So no clicking groups. I just gonna go there, do
Yeah.
what it takes, and then I start doing that for judo. And I found out about jiu-jitsu, and then I tried to do jiu-jitsu to help judo, and I realized that jiu-jitsu was something new, something amazing, different, and I associate a lot for being small, thin. I mean, like I was very skinny, to be able to protect myself and be able to beat someone bigger. With the Royce Gracie and on the UFC, it was kind of a big pump. And I said, what, I'll try to do that. And then I fell in love, and then I stopped taking judo so serious, and I started doing judo only to help my jiu-jitsu, and then merged, and then here I am.
So it's pretty interesting. I've talked to a few people that have started in judo, especially in Brazil, and then found jujitsu by way of judo, and it's cool to kind of have that background as judo is concerned, because I mean, for me too, like I see a lot of people that end up trying to do takedowns, not just in training but just in general, right? Like you see videos of people trying to take people down, either police officers or something, and they have a tough time doing it. So I feel like judo is is a really good tool to have in jiu-jitsu, right?
No, for sure. And it helps a lot because judo and jiu-jitsu, they're pretty much the same. It's just that they have different rules. And the rules makes jiu-jitsu be more focused for longer on the ground.
Yeah.
And judo stay focused longer, more on the standing, because once you imagine that, if you change the jiu-jitsu rules now and say, look, if I take you down with your back on the ground, ends the match, it will become judo. Everyone going to focus on standing,
Right.
because it's the quickest way of, why spending my time on the groundwork when if I take the guy down, it's over and I cannot pull guard. So you know what I mean? Like the rules made, but the techniques that pretty much possible on both.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. Like I want to do more judo stuff. Personally, just because I there's so many techniques when it comes to judo, right? There's so many different
Yeah.
little levers and things. I was watching something on YouTube a little while ago. There's a guy in UK. He's like 90 something, and he's a ninth dan, judo jack they call him. I think. Have you seen that guy?
No, I haven't met them.
Yeah, he's been training judo since like I think the 50s or something. And it's pretty inspiring. He's 90 something, 93, 94 or something like that, and I think he's due for his 10th dan. So I think when he's 95 or 96, so he's got a few more years, but it's just so
Wow.
inspiring. And like it's if you to me, that shows and tells me that if you end up doing the technique properly and you don't hurt yourself, you can do it for a really long time and he's
Exactly.
really healthy. Like that's what's the coolest part about martial arts is as long as you're doing the techniques properly and you're being smart about training, there should be no reason why you're not able to continue to train and learn and eventually pass off and pass down the information and the techniques that you've learned along the way.
Exactly. I mean, the thing is, we always tend to complicate things. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because if you do it right, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
But when you try to do complicated, then you can you can find all the kind of different ways. I think once you understand the concept of everything, you can adjust to your way of doing anything.
Right.
Instead of you trying to be adapted yourself to the jiu-jitsu, to your martial arts, but try to adapt the martial arts to yourself is a better way of longevity and to mastering.
Right.
Because nowadays, the way that I understand jiu-jitsu is completely different the way that I understood jiu-jitsu when I started, which is completely different the way that I understand jiu-jitsu when I was a world champion for the first time.
Right.
If I, but all those things, all these choices, all those decisions, all those doors that I opened on my journey brought me to where I am today. And that's why I understand, because I made many mistakes. I understand. I try completely differently. I try to do different, and I made mistakes. I try to do different in other ways, and I make it possible. And it's just try really. I think the secret is to try to understand yourself within and accept yourself the way that you are. And this brings a lot of lessons as well, not only for jiu-jitsu, for anything, because sometimes we try to be better than that guy. I try to be better than try to do like he does. I want to be him. I want to be like him. Everyone is different, bro. Everyone is different.
Yeah.
You just need to accept yourself and understand the concept of anything and try to figure out your own way of doing it. And that's the beauty, like, you know, once you click there, once you understand that is not about being better than anybody, but better than yourself.
Mhm.
Try to become a better version of yourself all the time. That leads to be as good as you could possibly be. And if you have the potential to be better than anybody else, then you will, regardless. But
Yeah.
you with the right way and mindset of doing it.
Right. Right. That's super interesting, man. I'm in that same kind of mind frame too. It's just always progression. Like I have a thirst for trying to always be better at everything that I do. Um, because I just feel like life is so short, and you should be the best. You should try to be the best person you can be, right? And regardless of
Yeah.
whether that means best jujitsu practitioner, or best speaker, or whatever it is, right? You should just try your hardest in whatever you can, and things will open up along the way, and you'll learn things from your mistakes and stuff. But that's natural. Everybody learns from their mistakes.
Yeah,
Um,
you gotta make those mistakes.
yeah.
If you don't make those mistakes,
Then you're never gonna grow.
you're never gonna grow.
Yeah, yeah, it's so interesting. Um, so you were talking about before how you started jujitsu when you were 16 in the northeast of Brazil. Did you which did you start with Gracie Barra, or did you start with a different school? What was your
So the school was called freestyle. Okay,
freestyle?
this which was I had a coach, a brown belt called Charles dos Anjos. He was the main coach there, and he has a partnership with Zé Radiola. With Zé Radiola at the time, he was a blue belt when I started, and they affiliated to Gracie Barra within 10 months while I was there.
Got it.
And then with that, as my coach, he went to America, to live off jiu-jitsu. It was a big change for him. And Zed, it was a purple belt, I was already blue belt at the time. He kind of took the responsibility, and then we carry on connecting with Gracie Barra and stuff. But Zach couldn't grade me because we only 10 months difference. And Carlos Gracie Jr. was grading me every single from purple to black belt to where I am now.
Interesting.
But we start very like jiu-jitsu where I start was like far away from everyone. Like after 10 months of jiu-jitsu, my the purple belt was taking care of the academy. Not there was no black belts around.
Yeah, because it's jiu-jitsu's grown so much in the last 20, 30 years. I'm sure back then it was kind of hard to find a black belt. to
Ooh, very hard.
yeah, to be a number one, just a professor, but number two, just kind of in your area, right? There's probably not a lot of people around. So
Yeah, my area is 3 hours away by plane to Rio, where the jiu-jitsu, in my whole state, there was no black belts, so that's
crazy.
crazy.
Who is who
A
is
black belt was like, wow, like
who was your favorite training partner when you started training? And
when
then
I back,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, sorry. Back there, I had two training partners I love to train with. One was Pedro, which is he was heavier and he was more graded than me. He was a very good challenge, very good passer, guard pass, and it helped me a lot develop my guard. And then Luciano Aires, which is he was lighter, but very fast and strong. So we kind of push each other. Pedro stopped uh, competing, started working early, which was a shame with a purple belt. He lives in Rio and he's doing very well in his life. But he's a black belt still, but he didn't pursue the competition. He
Yeah.
could do really well. And Luciano Aires also took it. He took serious up until purple belt. Then he went to work. But that's the thing, isn't it? Like I was the first one of my generation to pursue and be able to achieve. I tried to do my university, but it wasn't really what I loved, and I didn't want to be a frustrated guy when I'm now. I'm gonna be 40 next week, and I
Spring,
didn't want to be. Sorry.
you're spring chicken. You're young.
Look, you're 40 years old, man. Like you look like 20 years old there.
I'm 30. What am I? 32? Yeah, I think I'm 30. Yeah, 32. Yeah.
See, like you're a baby. But I was one of the things that I feared the most. Like the FOMO. The FOMO,
Yeah.
fear of missing out,
Yep.
and I don't think I would be able to. I don't know how it would be if I stopped and then now stopped and see the jiu-jitsu how it would be today. I would be really frustrated, and because I loved jiu-jitsu, it was my passion. I love the lifestyle. I love to travel, to compete, to do something. I always liked the idea of being a professional athlete. It's something that always called my attention. I love the idea of the message what jiu-jitsu brings with, the humbleness, to be able to control a situation without hurting the opponent if you don't want to. Like I've always been attracted to this kind of mindset. And I did production engineering for 3.5 years, but I was doing because if I didn't do it, I wouldn't be able to live off jiu-jitsu at the time, you know. But I realized that it doesn't matter what you do in life. It doesn't matter what it is. If you have the passion for it and you have the love for it and you have the dedication to go through whatever it takes, you're going to do well, man. It doesn't matter what it is. And that was my first chat with my dad, before I come to London. Because first I came to London. Uh, to Because as a dad, you hope for the best for your kids. You hope for your kid be able to go through and develop and evolve and build a family. That's the main thing, right? To be able to fly by himself. And my university was the only thing that was actually solid at the time, and especially with the mindset that we all had back in Brazil. But I learned, man, that if you do something that you don't like, everything goes in the ups and downs. And on the up, everything is fine when it's up. But the problem is when it's the down, that is the problem. And I know that whatever you do, you're gonna have a down.
Yeah.
And I didn't. If you don't love what you do, when it goes on the down, you're gonna start to find things to blame. You try to figure out things to leave, to do something else because you don't really love what you do, and then you're gonna start getting demotivated because it's only on the high that you're gonna be okay. At least it's worth on the high, but on the down, oh my god, how can I get out of that when you don't love to do or something? And that's what the first talk before I told my dad, and I said, Dad, listen, He goes, "Mike, you're gonna stop the course, man. Like with jiu-jitsu, I was gonna give to you." I said, "Listen, that like, if you get the best gardener in the world, he's all right. He can pay his bills. He can have a family. He has, he'll be okay. If you get the best street wall painter in the world, if you get the best wall painter, doesn't matter what it is, painter, like paint this wall here. If you get the best one in the world, you'll be okay. I want to be the best in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome.
You know, I want to be the best in jiu-jitsu. So I was 22 years old. I remember I was working in a security of a mall shop, a store, not the whole mall, just a little shop. I was the security to make people don't steal, you know. And I remember that was I went out of the shop on my break and sat down on the bench in the shopping center with my dad, and that's when a conversation came. And then I said to him, "Listen, I want to be the best in jiu-jitsu. And by trying to be, if to be the best in something, you need to do something that you really love. And I love jiu-jitsu, and that's my passion. And I know that on the down, I would do it anyway because look at me, I train jiu-jitsu because I love, and I don't get money for, I fight for medals, right? But I know how much it changed my life, jiu-jitsu, and then I want to go out there. I want to go and spread jiu-jitsu to the world. That was my goal, you know, and it paid off because I did something that I really loved, and we have the good and the bad, and we I'm good. And Skylar, man, I remember the first time I did a class in London, I made 73 pounds, right? It was equivalent to $100, like in a big group of class, bro. It was one of the best feelings that I ever had in my whole entire life. It was like, what? It's just happened. I made $100
Yeah.
doing something that I love doing it, that I would do it anyway. And now I have something that it would take a month in Brazil to have. And that was the confirmation.
Yeah.
It was the confirmation. And then I remember I did one seminar after that. I was a brown belt. Skylar, I traveled 3.5 hours on the train to get to the place. I thought for 3.5 or 4 hours, because at the time, seminars was too much, too long seminars and all that. And I went to come back for another 3.5 hours. I made $250 pounds, which was 300 pounds dollars or $350. And I felt like I came back. I put my music on, and I was like,
"This is the
man,
life."
I made it. And listen, I was the happiest because I was, even though it's far, but I was cruising. I was happy because I was doing something that I love, and I was being appreciated by people for for doing what I've loved, and I was giving back. And then not later, I mentioned to you about the appreciation, give back, and then I start to realize with those examples, and then with life, and then like last 2 years ago, I start realizing, bro, listen, when you appreciate what you've got, and then always give back, those two things is the most important and crucial thing to have within any relationship that you have. Not only a loving relationship, but as a friend relationship, as a workplace, as a your mission, as people around you. If you appreciate and give back, and everyone else does the same, imagine what we can build. So I've always tried to be very appreciative for everything that I've got, not only outside of jiu-jitsu, but with jiu-jitsu, with everything. And I've always tried to give back, because that I believe by giving back, the universe conspires to positivity, and then attracts likes, and your life becomes very, very positive and happy, because it's not point to be successful by yourself. It's not point, bro. That what's the point? What's the point? You bring you drive like let's say an example that is more appealing to my lifestyle. What's the point? You are in the most beautiful place in the whole planet, but you are by yourself. That's no point. And then if I've been in one of the most beautiful places in my life, like that I never thought I would, and I met beautiful people, but also but if the people that you love is not around you, it's not the same. It's slightly different, you know. So what means give back and the first thing is try to be successful, yes, but then try to make people around you also successful, pass it on the formula, you know, and then people around you, they will appreciate that, and they will give back and they will pass it on. And this, when you stop to see, you are, man, look, we are all in the same boat. And that's what we are doing with Gracie Barra, really, is trying to pass it on and give back, and everyone be able to live out of jiu-jitsu and being happy. And every time we meet, we are completely connected, and then every time we meet each other, it's like we carry on exactly in the same spot that we left the last time we saw each other. And our friendship just become bigger and bigger. And dude, it's like, as you can see, I'm so passionate about it.
And obviously, like talk about the inspiration, man. That's the fourth pillar, the inspiration pillar. That was it right there. Like
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so cool. And it's cool too, because like the people that you have around you with the other schools, the other Gracie Barra schools, I'm sure you train with them and you talk to them, and and you're the regional manager over there, right? So you end up kind of going in and making sure everything looks good, and helping everybody out, and kind of being that person that they look up to for that inspiration and for that direction.
Uh-huh.
That's so cool, man. That's awesome. You get to do that in a
Yeah.
pretty cool spot, man. That's cool.
Yeah. It's I'm very fortunate, like I'm never stopped really, Skylar. I never stopped to kind of think about my past, and and you start like, oh, yeah, man, I'm Braulio Estima. Look what I've done. Look, man, look, I'm one of the best in the world. I never ever think this way. I only talk in this because this quarantine, it made me reflect a lot about my past, because people want to know about it, right? They see the tip of the iceberg. So I have a lot of interviews, a lot of podcasts. I talk about how I got to here, like we're speaking today. And man, when I stopped to think what I, what I had, what my life used to be, and what my dream of life was. When I look at me today, bro, I'm not a millionaire. My house is very small, but I am
Here, you're a million.
living the dream. I'm living the dream, and I'm living the always what I wanted to, and with people, good people. I don't need to walk on the street and be put my back on the wall to be worried about, bro. I'm a free. I'm, and I know what I do. I have all the good intentions and the positivity, and then people see that, I got to know the world through jiu-jitsu. I have met amazing uh, people through jiu-jitsu, and I'm so pleased, so glad to be part of our community, and I'm very very grateful. I appreciate a lot, and that's why I give back.
Yeah. That's actually kind of asking, going into the next thing I want to ask is like, you know, you've been a black belt for a while. Um, have you found that uh, that you've appreciated a belt more than the other, or is it kind of all encompassing with your journey through jiu-jitsu?
Good question.
Yeah, which belt do you feel was the most inspirational, or the one that's kind of gotten you to the point where you are right now?
Man, Do you know, like, the blue belt was the belt that I really, you know, it's crazy. You know, it's crazy because really, a belt is nothing more, nothing less than an achievement of something that you're pursuing on the level that you're at, right? But the feeling is not very different, you know, if you're humble enough. A black belt was good. I mean, this is my personal journey, right? The black belt was amazing, but the black belt, a lot of people think you go to a black belt and it's like, okay, so boom, you put the matrix, you, you know what I mean, like, but you're still the same guy that was yesterday as brown belt. Nothing changed, right? But and it's not the end neither.
Right.
And that's why, for me, the black belt is not as important as the blue belt, because the blue belt, it was the first step towards the right goal, the right direction. That it is showed you are on the right path. You're the right way. Carry on this way. It's a matter of time, right? And one of the most significant tournaments that I ever won was my first tournament as a blue belt,
Interesting.
because it was when everything was magic. It was when everything was like, the dream was there, but at the same time, I did one step closer, and the light at the end of the tunnel was shining far away, but I could see
Yeah.
I was on the right path. But the feeling of achievement is not different than winning a black belt world champion, because I'm fighting people on my division, on my weight division, and my belt, my level. And if I outstanding there, I am, you know what I mean. On my case, I was the Pan American champion on the blue belt, and for me, it was as hard as for someone winning a black belt on their level. You know what I'm saying? It's proportional, and then you go with it, and that was magical for me, because up to there, at the blue belt, kind of, I put a lot of effort to go and compete on the IBJJF tournaments, and there was no IBJJF tournaments on my local area. That was too small, right? So it's only Rio, Sao Paulo, and in America when I started. And during 2 years, I lost the very first fight. So I fought 4 times, and I lost first fight, every 6 months. And the fifth one was going abroad, as being 18 years old, never left Brazil, never spoke English, by myself. Let's go, boom, you know. And I lost the previous 4 tournaments on the very first fight. So imagine how much, pressure could have exist. But the thing is, I just really wanted. And then I went there, I won my first fight, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and I won the whole tournament. And that was like, what? Nobody in my area, nobody in my, not only state, but nobody in the whole northeast of Brazil. It's like the west, the middle, whatever that. But like, nobody in the area ever achieved that. And I was a blue belt, and I was like, what? You know, I'm good. That's the right way. I'm on the right path. It was reassurance for me. And then you carry on. And then I won the world championship as a black belt. It was amazing. That's amazing feeling. But it's proportional, to be honest. You know, and I didn't feel like I was black belt when I was a world champion, because for me, black belt, it's a true story. It took me a while. It took me 3 years to realize, you know what? Yes, I am a black belt. It took me 3 years as black belt, and I won the very first one. And since since black belt, right, I've been in every finals of every tournament that I ever fought. So I fought every tournament as a black belt during 3 years. It took 3 years for me to realize that actually I was black belt, because I felt so many holes on my game. I felt there were so many things that I didn't know about it. There were so many things that I wasn't good at all. I was very good at something, but You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt like maybe I cheat the system, and I brought the fight towards what I'm good at. But if the fight was going to that way, maybe it wouldn't be the same. And do you know what I mean? And I've always, when I was a blue belt, purple belt, I look at people, like, oh, man, look at those guys, amazing black belts. Am I that guy when I was a blue belt? Am I really? I was like, hard to believe. After 3 years, I said, you know what? Yeah, I think I am now.
I'm, okay, I am a all right. I'm a black belt. Okay. Are you you're a third degree, fourth degree black belt?
I am fourth degree
Yeah.
black belt. Soon gonna be five, like
Wow.
two more years.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Big accomplishments. Big accomplishments.
big accomplishment. But the thing is, you're never gonna stop learning, right? It's so many out there to learn, and that's what I find fascinating and beautiful. Is so many things out there to learn. It's all about. And nowadays, I fight completely different than what I used to fight when I was a world champion twice already. I fight completely different, and but takes time. When you spoke about the uh, in the beginning about the tip of the iceberg, I always try to make sure that when I talk, when I tell about my jiu-jitsu, like I believe that I am like I did like my degree. I went masters, and I did my MBA, and I did my dissertation, and I became a scientist of the sport because I love it, and I search that. I search for evolution all the time, self improvement, and the more you search, the more there is to search. The more search, the more you find. The more you find, the more you search, and then you never stop. It's a universe of combination. You're never gonna get to the bottom, right? So there's a lot to improve. But if you stop when you stop searching, you stop evolving, and stop learning. And that's why I now I consider myself a scientist of it, because I searched, and that was my goal. I didn't want to only be a world champion. I wanted to be a world champion, also a very good instructor, because the thing I've always learned that is if you are a champion, you cannot be a good teacher, And usually the teacher is good because they didn't spend time. I said, no, hold on a second. That I don't agree with that.
Right.
And I want to show that it's possible, and I want to be a good instructor and a good fighter at the same time. So I now think completely different than what I was before. But the reason that I know what I know today through my experiences is because, as we spoke, I made so many mistakes. I tried, I failed. Like, it becomes down. It's funny because everything that all the guys say, like all the ice, like he never failed. He just made it better later. It made it learn from the mistakes to find the real one. And this down to everything is like persistence, determination, and never give up. And it never gonna feel perfect. It doesn't come. It doesn't exist. Those when you feel perfect, it's not like you have the super saiyajin. You go, oh, you feel the soundtrack of the movie. Oh man, it's not like that, man. It's like the same way of the pandemic. We got into such a big challenge with this crisis, and it came silent. It doesn't come with oh, it's gonna get bad. No, 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 no. You know what I mean? Like, suddenly, boom, we live in a tough time right now. But you just need to be prepared to act on the right time.
Right. That's yeah. It's man. That's so. Um, it's actually kind of going into that with this whole kind of pandemic and talking about some of the issues and problems that we've been having. Um, have you ever had to use jujitsu just on the street or just randomly, where someone attacked you or you felt like you needed to use what you've learned?
No, for sure, I have. Like, not lately. Since a long time I don't use, like, I never usually look, when if you want, you can fight every day on the streets,
Yeah, of course.
right? But if you don't want, you can avoid every day, every fight in the street. So it's really, there are things that can be avoidable, and there's sometimes that you cannot avoid, right? Uh, but I had, like, maybe I would say I never wanted to spend so much time fighting outside because I wanted to train hard next day. So I need to be, you know what I mean? But what I did, when I was 18 years old, I had one fight, and of course I use jiu-jitsu, and I never like I got like into a very bad one in that was a long story, but maybe we can make just a quick one, then I'll tell you another time. But in Dallas, man, I had a very big incident that the guy came at us, and then I had to defend myself, and I tried to be uh like give him a lesson, and then I didn't. I just immobilized him, and then he hit me, and then I didn't want to punch him. I just slapped his face, and I let him out, and I tried to give him a lesson. Just get out, see if I wanted to smash you, I would. Man, the guy came out with a gun, and I got shot at twice. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so that sometimes you want to be too nice, and then this I could be the end, couldn't it? Like, so next time I was advised to break the indicator, because if you break the indicator, if he has a gun, he cannot shoot at you. I said, well, I never thought about that before.
Either, and we're taught not to grab the digits, right? That's like part of our training. Don't grab the digits. But hey, if
Self-defense outside,
I mean,
But yeah, I mean, I never been like like on one-to-one. I always protect myself, and most of it I avoid, really. Most of it I've avoided, like 99% of my situations I avoided, even though I got angry, even though I wanted to give guys a lesson, but I just like try to be the bigger, sorry, try to be the bigger person, and try to avoid. And really, people who want to fight on the street are people that they haven't unleash that desire or that energy anywhere else, and they try to push, prove themselves. They try to kind of show them that I don't need to show that I know how to fight, right?
right,
Thankfully.
right,
So if I don't engage in a fight, I know, and people, the ego is easier for me to deal with the ego, because people around me also know if I wanted to, so it's easier, right? And also, back in the day, I knew it that if I was going to do get into a fight, I was going to go full on. It's no point to just not go full on, because you're in a fight, right? And then I knew that there's no chance the guy would handle if I was going full on,
sure.
right? And if the guy knew fighting, or they wouldn't do that on the street like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because you want, you know what I mean? If you are through martial art that really know what you're doing, you don't do those things. It's not point, because it's pointless. And if you want, okay, let's go to the real thing, and then we do it in the academy. Let's go, So I avoid most of it, just to the point that I know if I wanted, I could hurt someone, and then later, what I would do, I would just make it worse for me. And as I mentioned already today, one thing that I'm very proud and honored, that I don't need to be scared of give my back to nobody on the streets. I don't owe nobody nothing, or I treat everyone with respect. And the one thing that I'll never be able to handle, at least with my characteristics or my style, is to be able to be worried about to leave my house because I'm scared of someone that could actually try to. And if I beat someone out on the street, they will realize that they cannot beat me one-on-one. Right? And then what they're going to do? Something that they can handle. Right? So they either bring more people, maybe want to attack the loved ones, or they will come with a weapon. And this is not very smart, because I want to have a good time tomorrow on the beach or wherever I'm going. I wanna be relaxed. I don't want to be worried about, oh man, that guy, oh my God. So I always thought about consequences in everything I did.
Yeah, man, that gun story, that must have been terrifying, man. That was
Terrifying. Worst thing, man. Worst thing happened. Flipping knife. I mean, apart from my accident, that I fell on my head on jiu-jitsu, not on MMA, and I got tetraplegic for a while.
No
That
way.
was the scariest thing that ever happened in my life.
So
Man,
tell
I'll send you a link later. Yeah, that is actually online on the YouTube.
yeah.
Stuart Cooper is making a new documentary as well about it. So that was like in 2010, man. You know, like after my best year was 2009, and yeah, I got like fell on my head and I couldn't move. Like it's over. It was just like you see yourself dead. It's the worst. It was the worst thing that happened in my life by far. Like that,
Yeah.
because we all kind of selfish in a way, right? So when you see your body not responding, or you know, when you lose something that you really love,
Oh.
if you never lost someone, or if you maybe if you lost your something, your phone, your computer, you go, holy moly, man, all my photos, or like that's the only thing that I try to get into how it feels. You think that never happened to you, but it happened with me. When it happened, I said, oh, holy cow, man, I'm paralyzed. Oh my God, I'm paralyzed. Oh, man, I cried, and then I cannot watch. If I watch, I cry anytime. But bro, whew, first thing came to my mind was, oh man, I won't be able to pick up my kid. That was horrible. And the second thing was that I had a fight against Jack Reb on the next year, in 1 year from that. And I said, oh man, the fight against Jack Reb, I won't be able to do it. That was crazy. And then I was told that I would never be able to fight again, or no, be a sportsman again. And after that, I was very low, and I managed to do surgery in February 3rd. It was like 8 months or 7 months before the tournament, and I was able to actually, come back and be able to beat Jacare, even though I never even scored an advantage from previous times before when I was good. So it shows the mindset as well. It's pretty interesting, but that was the worst thing that happened to me. And second was the shooting, because it could be all over in a split second like that, and just because stupid altercation. Give
Man,
you perspective, huh?
that's so crazy. So you were training MMA, or you were in a fight in MMA, and then
Yeah.
and they ended up
No, I
just
was training it.
picking you up and
Yeah.
dropping you down.
I went to do a single leg, and the guy that I was training with, he threw me to the side, and I tried to jump to the other side to be on top of him. So I stopped the takedown with the head, and I
Oh,
stayed. Doesn't hurt. Nothing. Completely conscious. It's just desperation that you listen. Only whoever had knows what I'm talking about. Because when I didn't have, I had a feeling, I understand, oh man, paralyzed must be tough, this and that. Oh my God, you cannot feel. Bro, when it happened to you, it's a bigger wake up call.
oh, of course.
It's like you're seeing your body dead. The guy moved my arm. I said, please bring my arm here. He moved my arm, and I go, where's my arm? Bring my arm here. Said, oh my God, that was my arm. Like, man, it's crazy. Like, whew, I get shivers. But I'll send you the link so
Yes.
you can see.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a good time.
Yeah. We'll do this, but man, I'm sorry. That's got to be so. I mean, just like you said, it was a wake up call, right? It was just like
Yeah,
going back to what I was saying earlier. Like training is keeps your mind moving and keeps everything going. Um, and training like in a way that allows you to continue to learn and that kind of thing, that's important too. But sometimes mistakes happen and things just end up happening and you can't really do much about it. But thank
yeah. It's all about the decisions you make, right?
yeah.
That's what is free will. That's what I see as a free will. Free will is not only about decide to be good or decide to be bad. It's not that. Free will is like something happened. It's your choice to deal with it. How are you gonna take someone? Uh, you know, to call you names. It's your decision to call him his name back. It's your decision to don't do nothing, or it's our decision to give him. It's your decision. This is what is the free will. And you know, I try to improve my decisions through my experiences and through other people's experiences. And I think the smart guys are the one to take the right advices, not try to feel through the skin to be able to learn something. I think it's smart to learn from some other mistakes. It's very important, but also to go through so you can take your own uh, feel whatever. But that's what it is. Like things that's happened today now,
Right.
it's horrible, it's terrible, right? But that's up to you to how you're gonna take it. Are you going to do nothing about it? Are you gonna agree with it, or you got to do something different, or you try to take a lesson? You know what I mean? That's is what is not what's happening that is important. It's how you deal with it that is the most important. It's like fighting. It's fighting is not about it's about two people, right? It's not about one person.
Right.
It's two against one against each other. So it's not always what I want that's gonna happen. Because this person wants especially something completely opposite. It's a conflict of interest, right? So it's about I want this person does something, is how I deal with what he did. That's gonna matter, you know. So that's in life.
That's actually kind of interesting because my next question was going to be about your accomplishments, and obviously being able to learn from mistakes and move and change and become better. That's a huge accomplishment in itself, right? And you were talking about earlier how one of the biggest tournaments that you remember was when you were a blue belt. Now was like almost better than anything that you have had before. Would you say that was your biggest accomplishment professionally?
Well, no, I mean the my big accomplishments. Uh, I would say it was be able to succeed in the sport coming from where I came from. I think this was the biggest accomplishment, because uh, in terms of a rewarding feel of the achievement of the blue belt is the same, similar at each stage. That's what I meant. But in terms of accomplishment, of course, like winning the ADCC weight in absolutes was incredible. I beat Jacare after the surgery on my neck, being where I was. It was incredible. Being a world champion coming from where I was, where I came from, it was incredible. But that I think, but I succeed coming from where I came from. It was the biggest accomplishment of my career because it was something that I can use to motivate anybody to achieve their goals because it shows that it's possible. Because and then I think this is also very important for me to be to come from where I came from, be able to achieve was the biggest because no one has ever done it before, and I grew hearing that it never would be possible. You know, I grew as a blue belt. But a blue belt is not gonna. When I did it, yeah, but that was lucky. But purple belt is different, and I did, and then but the brown belt was I did. Okay, now black belt is impossible because, and I did it. So whoa! So everyone that came after me, they came with the idea that it is possible, And then when you go, I'm proud of that because it is going to imagine you're going to go through a jungle and you don't know what animals are there. You don't know what weapons you need to bring, and you are told that you can never go through. Then I made the path. I went through it, and I show guys, listen, this jungle is full of this kind of animals. So just prepare yourself to bring that kind of weapons. You don't need those weapons because there's no this kind of animals here.
Yeah.
And then people start trim down and become more, and then I felt that this is my biggest accomplishment because I see today the jiu-jitsu scene in my area is so much developed, so many champions out there, so many people inspires other people, and I feel very proud to be the first one on from that. And then it shows that's possible, and that story can be replicated in any field, in any platform, because I'm not superhuman, I'm not super talented. I consider myself that I'm very, very hard working, and I have a big willpower. It was the whole difference.
Speaking of hardworking, you've got some kind of stuff going on the side, right? You've got your site and some other kind of things that are happening. Kind of talk a little bit about that. What do you have in the works? What's kind of coming down the pike here?
I mean, like I'm being very man. I'm one of the busiest BJJ guy in the world. I think at the moment, not at the moment, but naturally, I travel a lot, and the whole thing made a huge perspective as well of what how to deal with in the future. But like I have a big role in our association at the Grace Bar, and purely I have my my focus on try to improve and develop and make it better. Try to improve people's lives through jiu-jitsu. This is my main goal. I have my Steam in Action, which is a learning platform that's online that I have on a weekly basis. If people want to find out about it, you can check it out. It's pretty cool. It has a lot of sparrings, a lot of tips, some mindset tips, and a lot of DVDs on the BJJ fanatics as well. That's pretty cool. And but mainly my main goal really now I'm focused is like really is use this platform, but not only to teach people to become a better fighter, but to show a little bit of the mindset that can be replicated anywhere in life, really. And that's what pumps me up. I don't do it really for the money. I do it for what I think is one of my purposes here, to use that, that show. Don't be silent about it. Try to pass it on and try to show people that it's possible if you have the right way of doing it and the right mindset.
Right, right. So moving into the next kind of thing here is 2020 is somewhat of a who knows what's going to happen, right? It's just there's what's next, like who knows?
It's crazy.
Yeah,
I think, Skylar, we have learned a lot, with that. I think the world would be different after all this, and jiu-jitsu too.
hmm
And we are part of creating, like in our team, Chris Barra, to create the new normal, And I think there'll be a lot, a lot of us have improved in many areas that was important to go to the next stage. And I think jiu-jitsu will be seen uh, completely different after all that. And I think jiu-jitsu gonna get a very big pump. There will be people gonna realize the importance of jiu-jitsu much more. This not only to be good in the UFC, it's not be good just to self-defense, but for much more than that. And I think jiu-jitsu came together in such a dimension that have been reached many people that never heard of it
right,
in their homes.
right.
And man, I'm very excited to get back into action and carry on my purpose. That's what I think, and I think we all appreciate a lot more each other more than before, and jiu-jitsu, man, is gonna be part of many more people in life, and it will make, and I believe that we will make a very big positive movement in the world, and I think jiu-jitsu will change much more lives, and I think we will make the world a better place to live. I have no doubts
Yeah, yeah,
because of what's happened.
right,
If
right.
people did
Yep,
jiu-jitsu, this wouldn't happen. But
right.
now people are realizing that.
Yeah,
Do you understand what I'm saying?
oh, of
It's
course.
big, man. I see further. I see like 10 years, 15 years from now, those scenario will be, man, can you believe that happened? But can you believe that it didn't happen? We wouldn't be there neither. And that's what I see. You know, I see it's tough what's going through. It's hard. You know, people lose their loved ones, but in many different ways. But everyone who is learned from it, if you put in practice, we have a very good opportunity now to make a very big change that's going to be very positive for everyone, for our next generations to come. And if we cannot go back in time, let's make what we've got a better platform for people who's coming after us.
I totally agree. I think it's time that I mean, I think martial arts in general just ends up helping people become more aware of who they are, um, and just having more respect that they can show. to the people that are around you and everything. And it's just part of that journey in martial arts, is just being able to learn from the things that you didn't do well, and then change and become better. So yeah. So okay, last question. When it comes to your nutrition, what is your nutrition kind of your diet look like now? Do you have you changed over the years? Is it something different now that we're in quarantine? What's kind of your status there?
I think one thing, it's a very good question. And I see this way. Everything is about how you, the goals you put in your life, okay, when you have the willpower, it shapes you, right? And I remember that when I was a kid, my dad and my mom, and dad, they never really had the knowledge. Not because they didn't, for them, like, it's okay to eat anything, sweets, and it wasn't my choice. It's just that they didn't have the choice. But then through jiu-jitsu, I learned a lot about diets. I learned about the importance of you looking after what intakes. That's make a big difference. I understood that by eating well, it's like putting good fuel on your Ferrari, and then your car is a Ferrari. So uh, that's the thing. And for a period of time, because of my my social, like my family, I've never been like a lot of money. I was like a low middle class, and I didn't have like all the sources to eat all the good, heavy, strong, expensive food, supplements and stuff. So there was a period of time that I learned that I ate not for the taste, but for the intake, and because I thought that's what it takes, to be what I got. For example, I need protein, I need carbohydrates, I need my vitamins and all my amino acids. That's what I need. Bah, 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 bah. And I remember, man, I used to boil the chicken, and I would put salt, man. And I just eat the chicken because that was the protein, and then I started learning to make the right decisions on what to take, and I started understanding more about diet. I understand that, and I started learning how to eat clean, and that became my normal, right? It became my normal, and then when you have something bigger that you have to chase, that big carrot that you're chasing, like which was my tournaments, I look after my diet because I didn't want to have no excuse. I look after my body, I look after my diet, and I look after my training. That I didn't used to go out all the time. I protect myself. I didn't drink before competitions. I used to spend about like 2 months without even touch alcohol before tournaments. And this thing teaches you to understand more, and then you become more. You appreciate what was your choices, and then it becomes the normal. And then when I eat, I didn't like to eat vegetables. Now I love vegetables, because I got used to integrate in my diet, and became something that I started learning how to make it enjoyable. So today, I've always learned. My dad always told me it's all about the balance. Everything is about the balance in everything in life, And then I try to find myself the balance. I like to eat things that I like, but for example, I'm very fortunate that I don't have sweet tooth, maybe because
I have a terrible
yeah. But one thing that is that's what shows exactly how I got to my diet to be okay even now, because I end up liking things that are healthy, and that becomes my thing. And do you know why I don't like desserts? Because I have it was so hard for me to go to a restaurant and pay a good meal, a good steak, a good pasta, a good salad, that I used to, usually the good restaurant for me at the time, I used to go with the people after training, because that's what I used to hang out with. We used to go to eat nice food, like you're hanging out with people and all athletes, and then they, in a better in a better class than me in terms of money. And then I was like, man, I gonna eat this food. Okay, I don't have a lot of money, so this money will be for my intake. So I'm gonna invest on myself. I want to eat that good food because I want to get myself supplied with a good nutrition after my hard training. So tomorrow I become better, right? So when I did that, and then the dessert comes, I go, hold on a second, man. I just spent so much money on that beautiful steak full of clean protein with some the salad, nice olive oil, just balanced, man. And I feel great now.
Yeah,
dude. If I eat this chocolate cake, it gonna ruin all what I put into my body, and it's not gonna make my body benefit from the hard training that I put just an hour ago. So, man, I don't want to throw away that hard training, the hard time that I put into training. I don't want to throw away all the money that I put on this beautiful steak. And then I associate desserts to that in my mind. And since I started, I don't even miss or like dessert. I don't eat desserts nowadays. Not even now. I don't. And I don't miss it because I associate to that. I ate a very nice meal. That meal is not only for the taste, but also to supply my body with goodies. And if I add the bloody dessert just for the taste, I'm gonna be contradicting everything why I put it into my main meal. Yeah. And that's why nowadays, because I had those kind of choices on my career. And then nowadays, I always have a good choices. And I don't miss other choices because I became my normal. And then I do eat, like, bad things, but I don't really, not because I crave. It's just because you do something different. Okay, it's here, I don't have access. Okay, go. I don't go McDonald's and eat McDonald's, but I like clean,
That's super interesting because for me, like part of my diet is, like, just as you were saying, the mindset of whatever you put in is to fuel something that you've done before. And if you end up putting something bad in your body, you're going to feel it later. Right?
Exactly. What's the point? You did all your hard work to put something bad in your part, and then it's like you're being very bad to yourself.
Right. Exactly. So now, like for dessert, my wife and I, we do occasionally, like we'll indulge in something that we probably shouldn't, but we'll do like an apple with some cinnamon on it, and that'll be our dessert, right? Because
that's pretty good. I like that.
It's good, and then that way, like, you're getting something healthy, and it's a little sweet at the end of the night. So, yeah, that's kind of our little end of the night. Sometimes we'll have a dessert, and that's it. So
the thing, like, for example, the only thing that I actually put sugar in it, which I change now for honey, which is coffee. That's my dessert. I like to have a coffee after, and I put a little bit of honey, coffee after my food. Boom, I'm ready to go.
Do you have a decaf or a regular after you eat dinner?
No, I like the regular.
How do you how do you go to sleep, man?
No. But I think it's because I'm talking about during the day mostly, but sometimes I do drink coffee in the evening because of culture. Our culture in Brazil, we're very big in coffee. We're the biggest in coffee in the world, and coffee is like morning, like day, in the evening. I used to drink coffee when I was 12 years old, 10 years old. And in the evening, we do drink coffee. But that was my family, how we grew up. We have coffee, but a lot of sugar. They put like a lot of sugar. I don't put this much sugar. But I think I got immune to the caffeine. And then I can have a double espresso now and go to sleep now. It doesn't affect me. But I think everyone's different.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Remember what I said?
Yeah.
In everything in life, you've got to understand yourself with it. You cannot do it because I do it, or I cannot do it because you do it. I need to understand why you do it.
Right.
And then in understanding your limitations, and I need to understand my own limitations, and I need to figure it out by myself. And you need to, because everyone's different. We are all different, bro.
Right.
We are all different. Have one thing that funny. I always say this, that we all different, that we all have different prints. We talk different, we different. We might be similar, but we're different. We're different people, different home, and you cannot compare to anybody, and you cannot just copy anybody. And I was thinking what caught my attention as well. Have you stopped to think if you do popcorn? I don't know if you ever done it, but I was doing this on the quarantine because you cannot buy. So I want to put a book. So I learned on Instagram how to put the popcorn. Reminds me of the old days of making a pan. And none of the grains, they pop at the same time. That is incredible.
Yeah.
None of them. None of them.
Yeah, that's
And
interesting.
it shows that everyone is different. Everything is different.
Yeah.
Look, you burn the same amount of heat on the same amount of time, and every grain pops on the different time. We're different.
That's really interesting, huh? I never thought about that before, but
but that's the thing is I start associating things, I start seeing things a little different. I say, man, look, and then it confirms my concept, and that's the catch. Maybe for me, if I drink coffee, I won't. But if you do, you might not go to sleep at all because you're different. Right. That's why we need to kind of learn with ourselves through our journey.
And that's a good kind of place to end, because just kind of running back into what we talked about at the beginning, everyone's different, and you just got to be able to respect everybody and be kind and be cool, and understand that we're all different, and that's okay. Like, it's gonna be fine. We got to be okay with each other. So
exactly.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time, man. I'm sure it's like midnight or just over midnight over there, like 11:15. But thank you so much for taking the time, buddy. I really appreciate it. Had a blast, and yeah, we'll Skylar from Jiu-Jitsu Nutrition, and we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks, Braulio.
Thank you very much, Skylar, bro. It has been an amazing, good topics, and you have a very good mindset, and I love talking to people that understand what I'm talking and see the world similar to what I see, and I'm not saying that what I see is the right or wrong. It's just saying that it feels natural for me, and I feel appreciated, and I appreciate. And then I give back, and that's how it is. I really appreciate it. I hope to talk more often at some point. And good luck on everything you're doing, because I know by talking to you, everything you're doing has the right purpose, the right reason behind, and you're the good, and the good always win in the end, man. I promise you.
Yes, awesome. Thanks, brother. Have an awesome night, my man.
Take care, mate. I'll see you next time.